welcome. I'm Keerthana, a math graduate, and I'm currently pursuing my MBA at Adithya School of Business Management. So today, we took a flight path of one such dreamer, a man who rewrote the rules of aviation. So, much like the spirit of Suraya portrait, Armara believed that low cost doesn't mean low dream. This man too believed that flying should be for everyone, not just a privileged few. So, let's get started and see how a dream took flight.
Before he gave wings to millions of dreams, he dared to dream his own. A man who turned a bankrupt airline into AirAsia, a name that echoes across the skies of Asia. The great Tony Fernandes.
In every title, behind every success story, there is a name that carries dreams, courage, and history. Sri Dattosri Anthony Francis Fernandes. He lives in Kuala Lumpur at Malaysia, the land where his story took flight and where it continues to inspire millions. He is 61 now, a lifetime of chasing dreams, building empires, and rewriting the rules. He is known to the world as Tony Fernandes, but in his homeland Malaysia, he carries a distinguished title, Sri and Dattosri. Thus, both are awarded to him for his significant contribution to his country. He doesn't talk that much about being a CEO. If you ask him, he will probably say, I'm still figuring things out. But he is a prominent Malaysian entrepreneur. And today, Tony Fernandes stands as the CEO of Capital A, a driving force behind AirAsia, while still leading this airline as the executive director. Beyond aviation, he chairs the Tune Group as well. A man steering empires in aviation, business, and dreams. Some people retire, but Tony rebuilds. Before the world knew his name, he was just a boy who raised by music and dreams.
In 1964, Tony Fernandes was born on 30th April at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to a Goan father, Stephen Edward Fernandes, a doctor, and a Portuguese Eurasian mother, Ana Dorothy Fernandes, a music teacher and a businesswoman.
Tony's education was started at Kuala Lumpur's Alex Smith School. Years later, after the boarding school in England at the age of 12, he studied accounting at London School of Economics, not just because he loved numbers, just because he believed that knowledge could be a passport. In fact, his parents wanted him to become a doctor, but he didn't have that intention. Armed with an accounting degree, Tony started his early career as an auditor, but later only he realized this wasn't the life he imagined.
I went and became an accountant, which was really the worst time of my life because I really hated accountancy.
Literally, Tony's heart had beat for two things, music and sport. But life wasn't a straight flight path, right? So Tony restarted his career with music. So he was working with Warner Music at London, UP, and later at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Until one day, the skies called him back. One fine day in 2001, on 2nd December, an opportunity came knocking. A failing airline, AirAsia. 2 planes, 40 million ringgit in debt, a company that nobody wanted but except him. Tony mortgaged his home and used all his personal savings as a part of the deal. Alongside, his friend Kamarudin Miranan and Tony made a deal of a lifetime and they bought this airline for just 1 ringgit. It cost around rupees 11 to 12 at that period and inherits all its trouble. Everyone called it crazy, but Tony called it possible. Actually, Tony was inspired by Ryan's playbook in Europe. So he tore away the frills and kept the safety and made the air travel affordable for millions of first-time flyers. In just a couple of years, his idea of affordability and accessibility took him from 2 planes to a large fleet and a failing airline was soaring. Tony built a new dream. Now everyone can fly.
Our tagline is now everyone can fly.
For Tony Fernandes, AirAsia was just a runway. The real journey had many destinations. From the roar of engines, he moved to the roar of the crowd, becoming the chairman of Queen's Park Rangers Football Club in England. Then he raced into the Formula 1 with Caterham F1. Then he dived into hotels, food delivery, logistics, and fintech. Today, he leads Capital A company that is more than just an airline. So Tony proved that the man who once mortgaged his home could build an empire that touched every corner of life. This was more than business. This was the rise of Tony Fernandes. When he getting started, he faced rules, political roadblocks, and competition from bigger airlines. Even when AirAsia grew, he faced many struggles. Some of his ideas didn't work, some were forced to shut down, and the major COVID-19 pandemic hit attacks. The planes were grounded and staffs were sent home. The company lost billions. But our hero, Tony, didn't give up. He found more ways to keep going and turning the AirAsia into something more called Capital A. Because for Tony, failure was never the end.
So my whole life, I've just taken a risk. Don't worry about failure. If you fail, try again.
For years, AirAsia soared without a major tragedy until 2014 28th December. A AirAsia flight from Surabaya to Singapore vanished from radar over a Java Sea during a storm. All 160 souls on board were lost. It was the darkest day in AirAsia's history. It was more than a airline tragedy. It was families, future, and dreams. All were gone in the moment. Fernandes was meeting the grieving families and standing with his team and promising that their loss would never be forgotten. The promise would carry on. Tony's journey has earned him a world applause. He has named as Entrepreneur of the Year in 2003. He was awarded by Second Queen Elizabeth. He honored with Malaysian titles and recognized by international body. Award fills the shelves. But for Tony, the real reward is seeing people flying for the first time and knowing he plays a little role in it. That's Tony. The fame, the title, or even a wealth doesn't drive Tony Fernandes. It is something simpler or deeper. The confidence. It is not granted, it is earned. From my heart, we believe his story really worked. Because he didn't born rich and didn't come from far. He just started with a dream, just like so many of us. He made flying possible for the people who never thought they could step on a plane just with a motor. Now everyone can fly. Fernandes isn't just planning for more planes, he is planning for more future. He is focusing on next generation of leader, people with heart, vision and hunger, just like once he was. And beyond business, he is thinking bigger to invest in health, education, sport and communities. Because he often says, don't dream small, dream big. Because it's the only way we can change things. So finally, what have we learned from his journey? Especially for me is that we don't need to be born in an industry to change it. Because as a math graduate, I don't have that much idea about management, business and the like. But then I came across Tony Fernandes, a man who knew nothing about aviation when he started, but still chose to fly. He showed me that we don't need to know it all before we begin. The passion, the courage, and the purpose are sometimes more powerful than experiences.
AirAsia, whatever happens, has shaped the lives of many careers, has shaped the lives of many businesses, and has shaped the lives of many dreams in terms of taking people to places they never dreamt of going. And so that's been the most fulfilling part of my job.
Dreams don't need permission, they just need actions. Thank you. Bye.